So what I really wanted to talk to you about, I don't know if you saw any of the stuff I posted.
I got a text from one of my good buddies is a sheriff not sheriff, he's works for Gutowski at the sheriff department, and he goes, crypto expert, huh? And I was like, I invest in crypto. Crypto expert might be a stretch a little bit.
Well, I thought I'd preface this by saying that you're not selling anything, that you're not promoting anything, but you're as close to an expert as I know. And I said that.
Yeah, you did. He just gave me shit. And he goes, I'm going to text all these different questions. I know you're not going to have the answer for. I'm like, fuck you. Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, because I have a bunch of questions, too.
Great.
We'll kind of get into that a little bit, yeah. But I did get a bunch of questions that came through because I'm super interested. In fact, maybe just, I know we've done a podcast before with you and Zach, but just do a quick, resume, which is what I'm leaning on for this whole conversation.
That's fine. No problem. If I don't have an answer for the question, I'll give everything I can. I know crypto pretty well, but if you go super deep on what does the Pepe coin, what's that powered on, all that shit, I'm like, I don't fucking know. But I know all the power stuff. Yeah. There's a Pepe coin, a Jesus coin, all this other crazy shit, and I'm just like, well, I focus on the main coins that I invest in. So, yeah, I mean, and a lot of people are like, well, I'm worried about, I don't want to invest in it. I have a heavy amount invested in crypto in general, probably $85,000 in crypto only. But at any point, that can be gone. Crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's at least educate some people on wanting to invest. So we can talk about that all.
Yeah, I want to circle back to that, but just a quick background on who you are and where you work and why this is why I think you're an expert, because I trust you.
Yeah. Bad news. Bad news. So are we live? We ready to go now? Okay.
Yeah, we're always live, dude.
All right. So background on me. I'm Kyle Gurzynski, originally from Ludington, Michigan. Now working here in Manistee. Love it here. Background for my education. I went to Calvin University. Graduated with double major, business finance, business economics. I have a little bit of psychology in there, obviously from the management side of things. I've been in the banking world for almost 13 years now. So I worked at large commercialized banks. So I worked at Fifth Third Bank for a while. Then got into the title insurance, and then came around to Safe Harbor Credit Union, and now here at Filer Credit Union Manistee. So I've worked in the lending side. My background, majority of it's through operations, and then now I'm the CEO at Filer Credit Union. So it's been a great career. I love banking, everything that has to do with it. And then on the side, I like to day trade. I like to get into stocks. I like to get in cryptocurrencies. So all the above.
This episode is brought to you by the Ramsdale Regional Center for the Arts. You can find them online at www.ramsdaletheater.org, or you can reach them by phone at 231-398-9770. So check the website for the ticketing information. That's www.ramsdaletheater.org. This episode is brought to you by the Outsider of Manistee. We're showcasing their family tavern, their beer garden, and their arcade. Their large outdoor patio. This place is really awesome. It's very focused on family, getting people outside, getting them to tour the city of Manistee, showcasing our social district with their newly added indoor bar, which is awesome. They have 6 drafts, over 100 canned beers and canned cocktails to choose from on the menu. This is a really awesome place for the family. You got to mess the kids, fill their pockets full of quarters, let them have at those pinball machines. Mom, Dad, enjoy a nice cold draft beer or a canned cocktail. Get yourself something to eat, feed the family, feed the kids, wake up that liver a little bit, and then go enjoy downtown Manistee. These guys are located at 457 River Street. You can find them on outsidermanistee.com. Call them at 231-299-1235. or order for pickup and delivery at orderoutsider.com. Check this place out. You won't regret it. Nice. I know Betsy and I, my wife, I talk about crypto all the time. And none of it comes with any kind of education. It's just shit I see on the internet. We need to get into this. And she's a CPA.
Sure.
So she's
smarter than both of us. I can tell you that right
100%, now. 100%. Yeah. And she's she's very save conscious. She's and I appreciate that.
Accountants are conservative, and they need to be.
She reels me in all the time. But I'm, and we're both trying to how do we make sure that we're diversified and all this. And crypto's just like, it's not new, but it's certainly new to like people like us.
Yep, it's getting more steam too.
Yeah.
It's getting more and more popular. People are talking about it a lot more.
And there's, I remember when Bitcoin was like $12 a coin.
Totally unrealistic now. I mean, but it started, I want to say it was like late 90s when Bitcoin really came on the scene, and people are like, too dangerous. I mean, it's still dangerous now from the regulatory side of things. And we'll dive into that a little bit further of like, what's blockchain, what's Bitcoin, because two separate things, but they work in conjunction, and that's why Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are so popular. I'm a bigger believer in blockchain specifically.
So I have some notes here, and that's definitely something I wanted to talk about. We can just hop on that real quick, because I feel like for security reasons, for a ton of shit, especially now with AI, and how AI can do these deep fakes, and you don't know if it's a real person or not. What I'm getting at is I really think that we're going to get to a point with social media that if you want to make sure that your identity hasn't been stolen or used in a way that, like say for example, somebody puts a video out of me using AI, and it looks like me and it sounds like me and I'm talking shit or whatever, it's going to be hard to defend whether or not that is me or not. But I feel like soon we'll be I would literally upload a video that I do or anything that I'm in and put it on the blockchain, so that if it's used, they know it's me. If it's some bullshit that's not from the I can say, well, that's not me.
And that's the biggest thing about blockchain is it's not able to be repeated, right? So that's what makes blockchain so unique. And there's a tracking system in blockchain that people don't realize, like, this is what we need to be doing, and this is why I'm such a believer in it. So, and I don't know where you're at with conspiracies with government and government having their hands and all the money and all that stuff, but
my tinfoil hat's over there, but we can grab
I figured
it.
As much.
We can grab it.
I like diving into conspiracy theories. I'm a good conspiracy theorist, but at the same time, so this is why I believe blockchain is the answer into the future. And I shouldn't be saying this from somebody that runs a financial institution, because blockchain really takes out the third party. So picture it this way. This is a good analogy that I heard a couple times. So if you are shaking somebody's hand, you're able to go to them directly and shake their hand, instead of me shaking your hand to shake that person's hand across the table. Or if I wanted to drink a bottle of water, I'm not going to have you drink the bottle of water to spit that water into that person's mouth. That's essentially how our financial system works right now. So you have a bank account somewhere. Let's say you have a bank account at Filer Credit Union. You go buy something on Amazon, Filer Credit Union's doing that transaction for you.
Right.
So that we're the spitting the water into that person's mouth or that Amazon's mouth for your transaction. Bitcoin, blockchain takes all of the third party out of it. So it's direct transactions. It's like your Venmo, your Zelle, all of that, but you're controlling it. So how blockchain will work, you got to separate block, separate chain. So the block is all the transactions that are happening. Very transparent. Once the blockchain is done, so there's they say it takes about 10 hours to complete one block. And you have like these nodes, and I'm nerding out with some of these concepts. So like nodes are the people are on the computers in the background, like typing all the stuff up, going through the blockchain, going through the blocks. Every block that they get completed, they get a small portion of Bitcoin as a reward. So that's like their pay. So once the block is closed, it goes to a chain to follow all the other blocks, hence blockchain. So the reason why I'm a huge believer in it, think of government now. So you had a business. You may have applied for a PPP loan at some point in time. There are businesses that took PPP loans like, yep, I'm going to take all this money and I'm going to reinvest in my business. I couldn't do this because I wasn't essential, so I'm doing my business, I'm paying my employees. Yeah. Well, there's plenty of business owners that took that money and said, bonus for me, I'm buying a new car, I'm buying all the stuff, and there's no regulatory saying, what did James do with that money that he got with his PPP? Well, if it's on blockchain, we can see where all of that money goes. So I
did not take a PPP loan.
But it's a realistic thing where it's like people are like, I don't know what the government's doing with our money. Yeah. Well, if it's on blockchain, it's on that technology, we can track where all that money goes. So you have a dollar bill, that dollar bill may get lost in the river or something. That's no longer accounted for. Blockchain, everything's accounted for. And I just think that's the technology that moving forward is Currency is going to go away at some point. This could be after we're dead, 25, 30 years,
Yeah.
whatever that may be. Hopefully we live longer than that.
Yeah.
But I do think that everything's moving into this digital world. You see that in banking, you see it in everything. And AI is scary, but it's efficient as long as you have the right stuff.
I look at Bitcoin, but it's not physical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't touch it. I can't feel it. I can't physically give it to somebody. I mean, shouldn't there be something said about actually having physical money in your hand?
Yeah, so segue into Bitcoin. So remember, blockchain is its own thing. Bitcoin is its own thing. So Bitcoin is the currency, right?
Yeah.
So being able to transfer that it's no different than going into your online banking and saying, I'm going to transfer this 8AA payment to Kyle. I'm going to pay him for coming on my podcast, $500, and I want to pay it directly through this 8AA system. That's what Bitcoin is doing. But Bitcoin was made so similar to gold. So gold isn't necessarily a currency that you're exchanging all the time. It's a physical thing that you're able to grab. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies were made to be the digital asset that gold is. So when inflation goes up, or let's say we're printing a bunch of money like the government likes to do, gold always holds value.
Right.
And now, as it's supposed to be like the inflation kicker, where it's like start investing in gold because gold's never going to lose value. That's what cryptocurrency was originally made to do. It hasn't necessarily gotten to that point yet, but it's supposed to be the digital asset that gold is. So there's the difference.
So, like, how does it go from... I was just literally talking... So, a couple things. I put a podcast on this morning when I was at the gym.
Yeah.
First thing they started talking about was Bitcoin.
Sure.
It's like the universe wanted this to happen, right? Good friend of mine walked in to the gym, and I told him, I said, hey, this is what I'm listening to. And he's like, hey, you got that guy coming on your podcast today? Like,
that
yeah,
guy,
I do.
that's an expert.
Yeah. And he goes, I got a couple of Bitcoins.
Yeah.
And he's like, I bought them when they were like at 15K. How does it go from whatever it was, like for him, 15K, now it's 60-some thousand dollars a coin?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. So Bitcoin,
And that's just
cryptocurrencies,
Bitcoin.
right? And this isn't, so it's not regulated, and that's one of the issues that people are really concerned about. So you have some of the peoples like your Elon Musks of the world, the people that have money that we'll never have. They can manipulate the market in the sense of like supply and demand. So this is how Bitcoin is different than any other coin. So Bitcoin has a limited supply, and I think it's around 200 million Bitcoins in the world that they're able to mine and find, which is another conversation of how they find, how they mine these. Anyways, so with 200 supply, as anything, supply and demand, you know this as a business owner, like when there's a limited supply of a certain liquor or a limited supply, you can sell that liquor for way more money because people want that, and you can only have 100 of them in the world. So as Bitcoin gets smaller and smaller supply, the theory is that Bitcoin is going to continue to rise in value because we're getting closer and closer to that 200 million limit. So right now in Bitcoin world, there's about 175, 180 Bitcoins that are in circulation. So we have that 20 to 25 million more Bitcoins that people are going to want to get once the mining is done. So the value in theory is supposed to skyrocket over the next 20 to 25 years. So stick with me here because it's you get sticky in the weeds here. So they have events that are called halving events. So what a halving event is when you get to a certain amount of Bitcoin, the miners, they get paid off it. Their cost now gets sliced in half. So this recent halving event is happening right now. The last one was in 2020, but every time they mine a coin or find Bitcoin, they get paid 6 Bitcoins each coin that they find and put in circulation. Now it gets cut in half to about 3.5 Bitcoins because of this new halving event. And it's set up where each amount, so if you get to 180 million, which we are now, that's where the next halving is. The next halving is going to be at 185 million. Cuts it from 3.5 for a reward or payment down to 2.5 to 2. So that's what the halving is meant for. So then at each halving event, it's supposed to increase dramatically in payment.
Is this like a stock split?
It's like almost the opposite of a stock split. So each halving event that has happened, Bitcoin has risen roughly 20%. So just like any other stock, people get their money, they take the money out, they sell it, make their Bitcoins available, price starts to come down dramatically because now the supply is growing, the demand is no longer there. So the hard thing is with Bitcoin, there's no fraud protection, which is one of the scariest things for me. So you can sell, it can be as a transaction, so they call it like hot storage, cold storage. So if somebody gets access to your account and they take your money, because we see fraud all the time in the banking world, It's on the blockchain. They send your money somewhere. You're never getting that money back because blockchain can never be changed once that block is closed. So that's the scariest thing.
That was what the protection was the blockchain.
So it's a protection in the sense that we can track it. So it's very transparent. But there's no protection necessarily. If somebody hacks into your account, you give somebody it looks like a QR code. It's like your verbiage and your code of anything that goes through. They send it out on the blockchain and it's locked on the blockchain. You can never get that money back. It's gone forever. That's the scariest thing about blockchain. So when it comes to like security, making sure, because a lot of people are like, maybe at work, my password changes every 3 months and it's going to be April 2024, exclamation point, July 2024, exclamation point. These hackers are 10 times smarter than all of us.
Yeah.
They have hacked all those different systems. So having like facial recognition when you're logging into your crypto, changing your passwords regularly, make it some ridiculous, stupid password that nobody's ever going to get into is essential, especially because it's the wild, wild west in crypto because nothing's regulated, which is huge.
And you're tied into almost 90,000.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's 80 because it dropped recently, but yeah,
how long have you been in it?
God, 10. Let's see, it was 2013 is when I first started investing in crypto.
Now, have you been buying shit with it?
Mm-hmm. So I have the wallet. So this is another portion of it. So you buy it on. So I use Coinbase, very basic. Everybody, thank God I didn't have FTX. So people that had the FTX platform like lost their money, and that's when like crypto died, right?
Yeah.
And then at that point in time, when everything fell through, it's like the stock market. Start throwing money in. Throwing money in when things dip, and it's a realistic, strategic stock and crypto investment strategy. Buy when everything dips. You're going to lose a ton of money when it comes down because the crypto markets are extremely volatile. So a stock market, you're like 5% maybe is a max that you would lose like in a week potentially. Crypto, you can lose 25% in a day, and it's not like, oh, okay. Yeah. But diamond hands, have you ever heard the term diamond hands? Like power through it, make sure you go. It's like a meme that came through during COVID when all stocks fell. Diamond hands, like hold the stock, hold the crypto. It's always going to come back around. And so far it's held true in the sense that crypto always rebounds, and it has rebounded. Like during COVID when that whole pandemic came in, crypto fell to almost $7,000. And now it's at $60,000. Imagine dumping $50,000 into $7,000 Bitcoin where you're at now.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy world. And if you haven't like done your studies, like Bitcoin is the one that runs it all, right? The crypto market fluctuates with Bitcoin, but you have, unlimited amount of coins that are out there. We've talked about Bitcoin specifically, but you have Ethereum, Solana, Doge. Those are the ones that I'm specifically invested in. Doge is more of like a fun thing where it's like, oh, this is a fun meme coin. It doesn't mean anything. And Elon Musk was the one really pumping it because, again, manipulated in the market. You can throw a ton of money in there, skyrockets, pull money out, comes back down, reinvest at that time. So these coins it's wild, wild west out there, man. And if you don't have your studies and as well as the security on it, I wouldn't invest. Again, we're not financial advisors, but at the same point, like you can make a lot of money on Bitcoin pretty easily.
So Bitcoin's the GOAT.
Yes, it's the one that runs the market. So I mean, it's also the highest in value. As you'll see, if Bitcoin moves up 2-3%, some of these smaller coins will move up 10-20%. And then they have like different phases. So Solana specifically, that's the heaviest coin that I'm invested in. It's a software engineering program, but they start using blockchain, and it gets into something way bigger than what I even know how, like the ETF game and then like the metaverse and everything. They're using the Solana platform to be able to make payments. So like that's a whole separate segment is what's metaverse and what does that have to do? They're using all digital currencies. And I think like the people that are very introverted, I would say most people think that we're very extroverted, but on the side, like we see people all the time, but it's nice to deconvert and just not talk to anybody. Yeah. You have people that don't want to talk to anybody ever. They live in this fictional world, but it's a real world in the metaverse, and they're using Solana platform to make all of their payments, to buy stupid clothes for your avatar and stuff like that. It's mind-blowing the amount of money that's being spent on this metaverse platform, and they're all using the blockchain Solana cryptocurrency platform to do it. So that's why I'm so invested in Solana, because I think metaverse is going to continue to blow up. Yeah, I mean, I do think that's the next evolution for all of that stuff. Right. Yeah. Think back to the 90s. Like, people are like, oh, internet's never going to blow up. Have a cell phone in your pocket. Not everybody's going to carry a cell phone. Dude. Nobody can leave their house without their cell phone now. What was that movie with Bruce Willis
where like everybody was basically an avatar.
Sure. I know what movie you're talking about. I can't remember what the title is.
I mean, it's kind of wild to
it's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, because that shit was made in the early 2000s for sure.
Well, have you put on one of those Apple Visions yet?
I have not.
I have not either, but I worry like that's the world that we're going to live in at some point. So like right now it's this massive block that's on your face. At some point it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Sure.
Think of like the cell phone back in the day. It was in your car. It's like the zipper bag and you had to pull it out. And then you had like the Zach Morris phone, right?
Yeah,
like that's what Apple Vision's going to be. Right now it's this massive block, and then it's going to get smaller. It's going to be glasses. It's going to be contacts. Like that's the evolution that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think about.
It's happening. I mean, it's just like Meta's Ray-Bans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy.
At some point, those are going to... That's what you want. You don't want that big freaking thing on your head the whole day. People are doing it, though, which is nuts.
Well, I see videos of people doing it all the time, and I hate getting on TikTok, but I get sucked into the TikTok world. And like after your algorithm starts like, this person looks stupid with Apple Vision, I want to keep watching this. And then there's people like golfing, and they're like swiping while they're watching stuff, and I was like... It's the world that we're going into. It's not a world that I really want to live in, but now I sound like the crotchety old guy. It's like, internet's never going to hit. I don't want to be on my cell phone all the time. It's like, well, it's going to happen.
I have the same conversation almost every night with my wife. I'm like, man, I feel like my dad.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm like, wow, back when I was younger.
Yep. Get off my lawn.
You got to kind of get used to change, I guess. I don't want to live in that world either.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's kind of the way the generations behind us or ahead of us, whatever, are leaning towards.
For sure.
You know, that digital shit for everything.
But it's all careers, all investments, anything that you have to do, like you have to adjust. I mean, if you don't adjust or you don't adapt, you die. If you're not trying to grow, you're going to die. Or if you're trying to remain stagnant and status quo is fine, you're falling backwards and you're going to be irrelevant. I mean, every industry, that's banking industry, beverage industry, whatever that may be, if you're not moving forward and you're remaining stagnant, you're dead. I can tell you that right now.
So for crypto, the only way you can buy anything is online now.
Yep.
Because there's nothing physical with it. So right now there's, like, at least to my knowledge, there's no place around here retail-wise where you can walk in and use crypto to buy. You can't buy groceries with it, can you?
That's part of the problem. Certain places you can, not in rural America. So we live in Manistee. We work in the surrounding area. There's no like crypto transaction points. So from my industry in the banking world, there are like crypto ATMs that people can now go to and access, which, I mean, they're expensive because they're rare. You'll find them in Chicago, Detroit, like your massive metropolitan areas. Yeah. But right now there's nothing in rural America that's like, hey, this point of sale, like your Apple Pay or whatever that may be, where you tap to pay. Merchants don't have that right now, and that's why it hasn't taken off. But that's why I'm invested now, because when it does take off, I really think people are like, awesome, this is a decentralized currency that the government doesn't have their hands in, and I control everything. That's why I believe it's going to take off at some point.
They don't have their hands in it until you take it out.
Right,
exactly. As soon as you take it out, they're like, whoa, you just made a bunch of money, right. Kyle. We need some taxes on that shit.
And that's the problem, and that's what people are, one, hesitant because of that, but at some point, how do we take government out of the financial world? And are we ever going to be able to do it? Probably not. And that's why the government's trying to be like, how can we regulate this? How can we make crypto be a real thing? Because at some point they need to adjust, because we're printing way too much money. So the value of the dollar is becoming nothing. Yeah. So $100,000 in 2010 is not, it's like 50,000, 30,000 nowadays, which is sad to think about, because that's not keeping up with what the economy is doing. Right. Crypto, on the other side, it's not like we're able to say we can print off a bunch more Bitcoin specifically, because you have a max of 200 million. How is that investment going to work for you? And that's where government bailouts and all of that stuff, that's why I hate how the currency is set up in our world. So crypto is finite, or Bitcoin for sure is. Bitcoin is. So all those other coins, they have like unlimited supply. That's why you'll see. How does theirs fluctuate in? If they're just basing it off of Bitcoin? Mm-hmm. So, yes and no. Okay. So it's based off Bitcoin because that's how the market follows, right? So the S&P, trying to relate it to stocks, like S&P goes up, your stocks are usually going to go up with it, right? So they call these like meme coins. So like Doge is a meme coin. It has unlimited supply. Those are the ones that people are like trying to get rich quick schemes in the sense. So those are manipulated by whales in the market. And what a whale is somebody that has a ton of money that can just drop a ton of money in, make a quick tweet, skyrockets for 20%. They make a ton of money. They pull their money out, comes back down. So people are trying to jump in at the market at the right time to make quick buck.
So that's like where the regulation kind of needs to be.
Correct.
Because you can't do that shit in the stock market. You can't a perfect example of that is Truth Social with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Like he went public.
It's wild.
He can't do shit with that money.
Yep.
For 6 months. He can't pull out of the...
Somebody just fall back there or what?
I don't know. He can't pull out of the market for like 6 months.
Yep.
So he can't take any of that money.
Because that was his initial IPO. Like it's the 6 months, launch your IPO, can't do anything. And that's what you'll see a lot of times with any new IPO. So Rivian was a newer IPO in the last couple of years, like the electronic truck, and same thing with Trump's. You'll see it skyrocket right off the bat, so people are making a ton of money.
Yeah.
Everybody that's not a part of the IPO sells off. So it plummets, and it'll go way down. So in crypto, it's very similar in the sense that your whales in the market say, yep, pump, 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 take their money out. And the people that aren't smart enough, which a lot of them are like you and I, are like, we're going to make a ton of money. This is great. It's up 20%. I'm going to hold because we're going to make more money. You lose your ass.
Yeah.
And then it comes out really quick because in Elon Musk pulling out $500 million in a Dogecoin will bankrupt us in the sense of like we're going to lose everything that we had in there. So that's why it's important to have like your stock stops. So if it says, I have a couple of these where if Solana hits a certain mark, pull all my money out because I don't want to lose any more money at that point in time.
Oh, so you just got it set.
Yep. So, and that's what I encourage at, like whether it's stocks, whether it's crypto, like have your stop loss and make sure if it hits that point, pull out. But a lot of times you'll be upset because like your stop loss, so you pull out and then all of a sudden it skyrockets back up and you're like, damn it, I could have had all this money, but it's protecting yourself because you can lose a lot of money really quick.
Yeah. So are you benchmarking that at like where you invested at? Or
So
I put $5,000 in, I might say, well, if it goes below $5,000, take it out.
So I guess from a certain aspect, it depends where you're at in your career. Are you close to retirement age? Like if I was close to retirement age, I wouldn't touch crypto.
Okay.
Just because I don't want to lose what I have in this kitty for retirement. I'm 36 years old. I have the ability to lose some money and be like, I'm going to make this back. I can hopefully invest in something else to make some more money. So if I lose money, I'm not completely upset about it, right?
Yeah.
So like I have a nice kitty set up that I live. I do my everything with my family, my life, in my own account, right? So this is like my fun money where it's like I feel comfortable. I don't want to lose everything I have in there, and not to sound.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to come off as like a weirdo.
I
feel comfortable losing all this money because I don't feel comfortable losing all that money. But from my standpoint, I know I'm not going to lose $75,000 within 1 week.
It's a risk threshold.
Exactly.
So
it's important to have that stop loss, but at the same point, like you'll see there's a gain point too. So if it breaks using crypto, Bitcoin specifically, if Bitcoin broke the $70,000 mark, which it had, it jumped up to 75 like in a heartbeat. So there's these different threshold marks. If you look into crypto and say, hey, it's never been to this point, there's a lot of people that say it's like a pullback, they would call it. Once you get to 70 grand, people want to take their earnings out. And they have it's like a stop loss, but the exact opposite. You get to 70 grand, people are taking their earnings, you're going to see it drop down significantly, and you can see where people have those set up at. So like I would know once Bitcoin gets the next threshold is 75,000, there's going to be a pullback at 75,000. So knowing to myself, I want to be part of that pullback, and then I'll reinvest once it comes back down. So that is something that looking at those different stop losses and where they have those pullback events is essential, because if you're just one of those people like, I'm going to put it there and let it sit, let it grow, and not look at these different things, it could hurt, could be good.
When you pull back,
yep,
are you taking that money out, selling it, and paying taxes on it? Or
yep.
Okay,
that's the problem. So if you're if you're putting in $2,000 and you make $500 on it, you're going to be paying $200 in taxes off of it. So it's got to be like a worthwhile amount. Otherwise, you're just like, I'm just putting it in here for the long haul, and hopefully it goes from $70,000 to $100,000. And then I feel comfortable taking out on that money on taxes. So that's the thing that you got to balance out too. Government still's got to get their hand in it one way or another.
Do they though?
God, and that's what they're trying to get rid of. That's the hard part.
I mean, I will say that if they do get in it and they regulate it, then that's what the currency is going to be.
I think so too.
Why would they stick with the failing dollar?
Right. The hard part is
country.
We have an older demographic, and that's not just where we live right now, but I can tell you right now, if I went to my dad and be like, hey, cryptocurrency is what you need to be using, he's going to be like, take a hike. Like, you're an idiot. Like, that's never going to happen, and I'm never going to use my cell phone to make my payments. Like, getting him to use Apple Pay is impossible. It's like, Dad, double-click on the side of your phone, tap it, and be good. No, he's like, nope, cash is king, and I'll use my checks. I was like, all right, sounds good. Everybody after us, like the Zillennials or whatever you want to call them, everybody's going to be using their phones for all the transactions. So why would we need... And this goes against everything that I work in right now.
It's happening fast.
Why do we need debit cards? Why do we need checks? If we can use our phones to do everything and taking out the middleman, which is what crypto and blockchain is designed to do, then that's what we need to be doing. Another thing to think about where I believe blockchain is the answer. So buying a mortgage or getting a mortgage, buying a house. So putting a title in, you got to send it to the courthouse, get the lien, get the title, get the deed, everything, and then you're relying on a third party to like file it, stamp it, file it away.
More money.
More money. Blockchain could do all of that. So I'm waiting to the one point where it's like, I just bought a house, it's on the blockchain, here's my block, it's in this block now, the deed is mine, and it shows here, very transparent, just like everything. If you sell a house, I can know how much you sell your house for, just like anybody else could. It's at the courthouse, it's all public data. Why do we have to have that? We don't have to have that. We don't need to have accountants do this stuff for us anymore if we have the blockchain. If we have this stuff that's like everything's regulated, we're able to see where all the transactions are going, and it's foolproof at that point in time. And that's outside of the crypto wild west. It's just blockchain.
Yeah.
That's where I believe that blockchain is going to take over majority of payment systems, titling systems, any type of deed that you would ever need, auto deed, that type of thing. It should all be on the blockchain.
Yeah, so then this morning I was thinking, like, man, when was it Nixon that took us from the gold standard?
Oh, man, I'm not a history buff.
I think it was Nixon that was like, we're going to go away from the gold standard, and that putting the backing of the dollar back on gold. People are saying that the world. Mm-hmm. What do I have written down here? Basically, that all the central banks, at least the foreign central banks, are talking about going back to a gold standard because paper is not worth anything. Mm-hmm. Especially if we keep jacking up interest rates and all this bullshit. It's devaluing the dollar, but gold is finite. Just like Bitcoin, I'm learning now. So having the backing of gold will pump up the dollar, but based on these conversations that we're having, wouldn't we just use Bitcoin as the gold?
Like I said, dollar? Bitcoin's supposed to be the digital version of gold, and it's supposed to be the backing. And I guess the thing that worries me the most is how much money that we're printing. So like fiat currency is your dollars, whatever that may be. And there was discussion that the dollar would no longer be the backup reserve for all currencies. So whether it's the yen, the peso, whatever that may be, right now the dollar is the backup reserve. They've had discussions that it's now going to be the Chinese currency. So it's like, if that happens, then our dollar is nothing. It means nothing because it's just in our world, we're just as good as the peso. And we all know how good the peso is, right? It's not good. So that's one of the biggest things that worries me is like, where's the value of the dollar going to be in 20 years? And if it's minimal, then I want to be in crypto. And that's why I'm in it right now. I hope we don't get to that point, but if that ends up happening, then we're going to be in a world of hurt as not only a country, but also from a financial standpoint. Like, is that the next crisis that happens? Like, big crisis. And I'm not talking about like a housing shortage. Like, those are crises in itself, but there are massive crises that could happen. And if we are not the backup reserve for all these other countries, we're in a shitstorm. Yeah.
Now, does the credit union, does Filer... I'm trying to think back. I should have watched the last podcast you and I did together with Zach.
Sure.
Did you say that Filer helps you invest in, or you have a way to invest through Filer Credit Union into cryptocurrency?
So we're looking at that right now.
Okay.
I know when we first brought it up to the board, there were some hesitations because there was a lot of, I don't know what crypto is.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like education, not only with the board, but the staff as well, because anytime we bring on like a new platform, it has to go through the board, it signs off, and then we go and we move forward. So basically, there's something that's called Cryptify, and what it is, it's like a reward system. So like you have a credit card, you get flyer miles or whatever that may be, cash back. There's a platform where, you use your debit card or your credit card and you get crypto. So you get Bitcoin, like a small portion of Bitcoin every time you swipe your card. That would encourage me to swipe my card a lot more. Then you can start making a kitty and start making some more money. So we're looking at adding a platform similar to that. It's in its very infant phases yet, so I can't be like, yeah, it's going to happen in 2 months.
Sure.
It's not. But we're looking at the background of how safe is it. You're also able to buy Bitcoin and everything else on that platform through your online banking at Filer Credit Union. Once we get to the point where we're like, yep, this is what we're doing, this is what we're launching. Again, very infant phases. Me and Zach have been looking at it. We want to make sure that it's something that our members would use because we're trying to stay cutting edge as much as possible at the credit union, right? So what is something that each demographic could benefit from? I would be lying to you if I said 50 and above would use this Cryptify platform, because they won't. But if we're trying to attract a younger demographic, I can tell you if I said, hey, every time you swipe that debit card, you're getting Bitcoin. People will be like, hell yeah, sounds good.
I mean, I'm down for that. I mean, that's the conversation I've been having in my mind is like, well, what's the easiest way just to collect Bitcoin without having to go through all the shit? It's just another thing that I would have to,
Yeah.
But I know that Bitcoin is something that I need to be invested in, even if I'm only getting pennies worth of a Bitcoin every time I swipe. I know that I'm getting something.
Yeah, definitely.
So that would be a ticket. I would definitely want to. I would want to do that.
And I think we would get a lot more members by doing that. It's just like another perk to be able to be a member at Filer Credit Union, and then you're doing this. So there's not a lot of credit unions or banks in general that are doing it right now. It's been, I want to say it was introduced last year, and a lot of people, there was like 3 flagship credit unions that were doing it, and we're like, all right, we're going to watch, see how it goes for them, and we've talked to them pretty regularly, and like, yeah, we've had a lot of people want to jump into it and start using it. So they're partnering with like a Coinbase type platform where it's like every your transaction, it's going to this platform where you're now purchasing small dollar amounts all the way through. Because the other hard thing is like, Coinbase and Bitcoin platforms or cryptocurrency platforms take a fee anytime you buy or sell.
That was my next question.
Yeah, so every time you buy and sell, and I don't know what the exact percentage is. Yeah, exactly. I think E-Trade, some of those platforms are like just flat fee. So I think E-Trade is like $5.95, or they used to promote that. Bitcoin is a percentage every time. So depending if you buy 1,000 Bitcoins or 1 Bitcoin, I think it's like 3.6% of whatever that trade would be. So they're making a ton of money on those whales that are coming in. Like, let me drop in $500,000 in Bitcoin. They're making a ton of money on those fees, and those fees are going back to like the nodes that we talked about, those people that are cranking out on their computers, and that's a whole issue in itself. Is like the power that they're using to mine Bitcoin is what the government has an issue with. So it's like it's creating this carbon footprint that people are pissed off about.
What the hell is mining Bitcoin?
Yeah. So you have people that are sitting at computers.
Yeah, they're not chipping away at shit.
No, they're not chipping away at shit. No, they're like, these mining facilities are like, you would be blown away with the amount of computer network systems. And they're like, this room that we're sitting in is a massive room in downtown Manistee. This room would not be big enough for a mining facility for like 5 people because of all the software engineering that goes into it. So they're basically like putting together puzzle pieces, from my understanding. They're putting together basically like big puzzles that every time they find something to put out into circulation, then they put the pieces together, put it out there, now it's circulated. And they're finding like 1,000th of a Bitcoin, and that's all they're looking for on a daily basis, which is crazy to me. It sounds awful and miserable, but I'm also not somebody that would like to sit behind a computer all day and just crank out puzzle pieces.
My brain is melting. So how are they looking for it?
I don't have that exact answer.
Okay. Yeah.
I know in their mining facilities, they're on their computers. They're looking for these pieces that are, from what I've been told, they're like puzzle pieces that are being put together. They're very hard to find. I don't know if they're on like another website doing this, if they're looking at like some specific form of crypto. I really don't know that answer. There's your expert for you. I don't know exactly how the mining works.
I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that know like everything.
There's not many people know everything from the bottom to the top.
Can I get a loan that's secured with crypto?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Yeah, just
and
because.
That's because of the regulation?
It's so hard to. Yeah, that. And so let's say you're like, hey, I'm going to secure $100,000 of my crypto to go buy another business venture. Well, your crypto could be $100,000 today, and it could be $20,000 tomorrow. So, like, our secured crypto for the collateral of it, there's no for sure dollar amount that it's going to be in 5 years.
Gotcha.
So we wouldn't be able to secure any type of loan on crypto. We need to have like a house that we know is going to appreciate in value all the time, or a car or a ring that's going to appreciate in value. Crypto can lose money quickly. I mean, it's no different than securing a stock. We take the stock and take a percentage off of it and be like, this is how much of this stock could potentially go down. This is what we're able to secure you at. No different than like a HELOC. HELOC, you can take the equity up to 80 to 90% of that house, because we're going to assume that you're not going to lose 10% of your house value over the next year unless you just absolutely thrash it.
Right.
So crypto, it's way too volatile to use that as a security. Good question, though.
Yeah, I try. Mm-hmm. All right, I do have some questions that were texted in.
Great.
Some people are a little...
Again, we may not have the answer, but we can try.
Well, one of the questions I had on here, which doesn't have anything to do with crypto, but I was certainly interested in getting your feedback on, with the current interest rates, do you think they're too low? I read something the other day that in order to improve inflation, bringing the interest rate down isn't going to help it. Mm-hmm. They should be going higher.
Yep.
And based on the current, like within the last few days, where you see the Dow is down and the dollar is down, and unemployment is kind of sketch right now. That some of these, well, at least these people on Reddit are saying the shit needs to go up.
Yeah, so this is more my wheelhouse, where I would say, yeah, I am an expert at this. I know it because I read this shit every day. I do think they're too low, and that's going to piss off majority of regular consumers. Like, I want to buy a mortgage, and I don't want to do it at 7%. It was like, historically, 6-7% is a pretty good mortgage rate. 2-3% during the COVID time is unrealistic. We're never going to see that again. That was stupid, because now they just screwed everything moving forward. People that have that 2-3% mortgage are never moving out of that house because it's free money. If you look at what the inflation numbers have been recently, it's starting to creep back up, and exactly what you just said. If interest rates are down, that stimulates the economy to spend, and we don't want people spending from a government standpoint, because if people start spending, inflation starts to fly up. From a banking standpoint, we want people to spend because we want people to come in to get loans and be able to service them more. But over the last week, rates have gone up significantly, actually. We were able to do a mortgage last week around 6%. This week, it's up to 7%. So, I mean, a whole percent in a week is pretty significant. And the Federal Reserve said, like, we're planning to drop the prime rate 3 times this year. I don't think that's going to happen, because I think that they said it was roughly 75% in June at their next meeting that they'll drop it a quarter basis point. I would be surprised if they do that at this point, because everything's gone the exact opposite direction that they want it to go. Being a presidential year, you never know what the hell is going to happen. So there's going to be some sneaky stuff behind the scenes, like, hey, we brought inflation down, we brought unemployment down, presidential election's done, shoots back up, because they're like, hey, we just finagled the numbers a little bit, and now they're back in the shit house.
The Federal Reserve is a whole another podcast, dude, for me. Yeah,
it's very frustrating. And the hard thing is, like, there is no diversity in, like, the Federal Reserve, in my opinion. It's people that are, I would say, experienced, for lack of a better term, and people in, there's nobody in different industries. It's just one industry, and that's all they have. There's no diversity. There's no different mindsets. They all think the same. The only difference is Republican, Democrat, where are you at on that side?
Right.
That's the only diversity that they have, which pisses me off. They got to have something else in there. And if you look at the Federal Reserve, I bet you there's not anybody on that committee that's under 45 years old.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, I'm not saying like the young demographic has to be on there, but they bring a different mindset.
Yeah, it should be represented
at some point. Yeah. I mean, that's what I like to see with our board. Like, bring in a different mindset. It's extremely important. We can't just all be one certain box where it's like, yep, we are all 50-year-old white males. That's the only mindset that we want to hear from. I mean, that's awful. It's terrible for business. And why does the Federal Reserve do that? It just makes no sense to me.
Shout out to Jamie Dimon.
Yeah. Hey, I actually like Jamie Dimon. I think that his mind is actually, run for president. Like, give me somebody like that has smart mind and knows what he's doing. Like, comes off as an asshole sometimes, but at the same time, he knows what he's doing.
Don't they all, though?
Yeah, no kidding.
And we all come off as assholes sometimes.
Yeah, trust me, I'm on that list.
Question number 1.
Great.
This is from Corey in St. John's. And I encourage you guys and gals that are calling in or texting in to leave your name and where you're from.
Corey from St. John's.
Yeah, you don't have to do a last name, but appreciate Corey for dropping his name and telling us where he's from. James, looking forward to Kyle coming on and talking about crypto, as I also know Dick about crypto, but want me to learn about it. Have him break down and we might have already talked about this, so let's see. Have him break down exactly how you go from actual money in your hand to investing to wanting cash out.
Sure.
We've kind of talked about that a little bit.
Yep.
Heard people getting in and losing their ass. We did talk about that.
Yep.
I understand that there are no guarantees, but if you get in low and it goes up and you want to cash out, how do you put actual money in your hand again?
Great question. So let's start from the beginning there. So let's say you have a bank account, you want to put it into Coinbase. That's one of the trading platforms that they have. You'll basically it's an app on your phone, go to Coinbase, you download an app, you create your own profile just like you normally would with any other account that you would have. You have to link your bank account. So some banks, credit unions don't have that access because they try to block off different cryptocurrencies. So Filer, we have that opportunity where it's like you can transfer your money into Coinbase and it goes into your Coinbase wallet, essentially. Once it's in your Coinbase wallet, then you choose what coins you want to go into. So it's similar to Robinhood or any other stock exchange. It's in your crypto wallet. Then you say, I want to buy Bitcoin. Let's say, so Bitcoin's price right now is around $70,000. Let's say you put in $10,000. You can choose Bitcoin. I want to put $10,000 in a Bitcoin. It's going to say you are buying 1/7 of a coin of Bitcoin. Make your transaction. Now you're in Bitcoin. So it's moving off of your wallet in Coinbase. So I think they call it like it could be as simple as Coinbase wallet. I can't remember off the top of my head. Moving out of your wallet. Now it's on the platform of Coinbase, similar to how Robinhood would have it set up. You have a Robinhood account, you pay in your Robinhood to buy a stock, now it's in that stock, and you're in that stock until you move out. You do have to pay a fee when you make that transaction, and then if you have gains off it, you have to pay a certain tax off the gains that you have on it as well. So now go to the end of it, you make your money on Bitcoin, you want to cash out, you go into your Coinbase app. Other apps are out there, I just use Coinbase because that's what I use. You click on your Bitcoin and it says sell. This is similar to how a stock exchange would use. This is how much you're selling. This is what the fee is going to be. You sell it, goes directly into your Coinbase wallet. That Coinbase wallet is integrated into your bank account. You take it, say transferred to my Filer Credit Union bank account. Bam, it's there, back into your physical currency. So it's no different than using Robinhood, E-Trade. Yeah. It's the same platform. This platform is just, in my opinion, it's not as protected as E-Trade because somebody hacks into your E-Trade, they take that money out, that money is insured. Your money in crypto is not insured.
Do you think it'll ever be insured?
If the government gets involved, probably, but if the government gets involved, it's not going to be as popular. You're not going to see the volatile waves. They're going to turn it into what the stock exchange is.
So do you like the volatility?
I love it.
Okay. And I think that's kind of the consensus of everybody who's really into Bitcoin.
For sure. I like to think I'm a risk taker in the sense of investments. Like, I've lost my ass on investments before. At some points, I was like, that was dumb. And I knew it was dumb because the riskier the investment, the higher the reward is essentially how it comes down to. And that's what crypto is for me. I'm so thankful that at work, I have a CFO that is such a genius, and she's very conservative in the sense of hey, what about this idea? This is a good idea. And she goes, rein it back in. This is what we need to be doing. Focus on this. It's no different than my wife with cryptos and the Robinhoods and the stock exchange. I want to take a risk. I'm going to throw this amount of money into this and see if I'm comfortable losing X dollar amount. But I love the volatility. I love being able to look at my crypto and see how much money have I gained this past year, how much have I lost in this past year, and it's much bigger than what the Robinhood account would be. Because if I was older, and we talked about this earlier, if I was closer to retirement age, I would hate it. I would never want to do that. If I was above 55, I would never, in my wildest dreams, do this because it's stupid to do that.
Man. Yeah.
You're young enough in the sense of invest. You feel comfortable losing a certain amount of money, assuming you don't want to lose that money, obviously. But you got to be comfortable. I'm still
earning. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've done pretty well investing. We got our retirement accounts. We're as long as I'm still earning. And I always feel like I will always earn. Yeah. I'm the type of person that doesn't really see retirement as golf and air conditioning.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'll always be contributing in some way that's going to give me
That's how you're
a
wired.
return. Yeah.
But you like doing this. There's a difference. Those people that are golfing and want to sit in air conditioning, they don't love their job.
Right.
Like you have a passion and you're good at doing what you're doing, so you're making money while doing it, so why would you ever quit?
Right.
There's at some point where it's like, hey, I should probably slow down because I am not in touch with what is happening in reality right now.
Yeah.
So like at some points, like either you recognize it or your wife's gonna be like, hey, James, it's time.
Yeah.
You sound like a dumbass.
Yeah.
It's time to get out.
Dial it down.
But at certain points,
Rush
like
Limbaugh.
it's time to be able to realize when you need to be done. But I'm the same way as you. I love working. I have a passion for what I'm doing. I don't say like 65, I'm out.
Yeah.
Unless my team's like, you're the one that's holding us back.
You know, I would say that for somebody who's thinking about getting in, the idea that the bank or the credit union could help facilitate that. As far as like, if I'm going to talk about like what we do, we're totally different than a lot of people. I don't use, like an investment firm or anything like that. You know, we do all our stuff our own. You
Sure,
know,
I do the same thing. I'm with
IRAs
you.
and Roth, all that stuff. Our own retirement accounts. We do the index fund. That's kind of what we've always done, and just kind of let the market do what the market does. But when you're not educated on something, we're fairly educated. Especially my wife is really dialed in that, like, this is the course of action. We don't need to pay somebody to do this. We can do this ourselves, right? Where with cryptocurrency, not that I want to pay somebody to do it for me, but it would be nice to say, all right, well, if I'm using my credit card, I can get a few pennies worth here. Or if eventually the credit union was like, hey, we're set up with this system where you become the wallet and I can talk to you. I can't talk to somebody at Coinbase.
Sure.
But I'd love to be able to sit down and be like, hey, man, like, all right, I've got $8,000. I'd like to sprinkle some of that into cryptocurrency. Can you help walk me through it? Can you help set me up? And then just kind of do everything through the bank, normal banking, like I do with everything else, but there's a portion of it that's crypto.
But that's also the hard part on our end too, is because I wouldn't say fluent, but like I know it, I study it. We have 50 other employees that are probably like, I don't know what the hell cryptocurrency is. So if you were to come in as a member and be like, hey, you have this Cryptify platform, teach me on crypto, and they're like, I just know we have the platform, put your money in, and I can't necessarily guide you on it. So there's a lot of training and guidance that needs to happen because our people are trained from the financial side of like their financial counselors on everything, and they're great at it.
Yeah.
But if I throw crypto at them, they're going to be like, I'm not exactly sure how this works. And then if people like you are coming in and ask questions, then they almost feel inadequate where there's like, I don't have the answer, and I don't want that to hurt our service scores and the great service that we provide, because we're not great at crypto when there's one person that does it, that knows it, and can talk to every member on it, and that person may not be in the office all the time. So it's unrealistic for me to feel like everybody that's in every branch knows crypto. They can coach people on crypto outside of like, this is what this platform is. You have the opportunity to do it, but we're not financial advisors. So like you have people that are great at that. We handle our own investments, right? So I'm not saying that you and I are great at it, but at the same point, the people that work at Edward Jones in town here, or the people that work at different investment firms, like they are great at what they do.
Yeah.
And they had better advice probably than what we would have.
Yeah.
Like we would say, hey, we're here for the bang of the buck. I'm here for the rush of how much money I can make. Where those people are like, this is the annuity you need to have. This is what you're going to be comfortable with in retirement. Let us set you up on how to get to retirement. I'm going to be like, take this chance. You could lose money, but you could be set up great towards the end. And that's how I guess, set up my personal investments on certain things. And it's no different than if it's Robinhood, crypto. I like the rush of being able to make money fast and knowing that I could potentially lose it. But I also do a lot of studying in it, too, to prevent those loss measures.
And I wonder if there'd be a future where, like you had said, maybe the banking industry goes away because of the blockchain and everything's there. But I wonder if there's like a tie-in, a dovetail with Robinhood or something like that, meaning like I come to file a credit union, but there's an office right here, and you guys are now working together with Robinhood or Coinbase. Takes the having to educate people out of
just
filer's
one person.
hand. Now you just go over here to this office.
Yeah. I would love that at some point. It's no different than going into a larger institution like a JP Morgan or a Chase Bank, and they have like an investment advisor internally. There's no different. They can tell you like, this is what we have on the stock exchange, this is what you can invest in, or this is what we have on the cryptocurrency side. Like, I would love to get to that point where we have that person. I see it coming in the future. It's just not right now. Yeah. But it would be great to have that type of person. Maybe you could be that guy. You got some time.
I don't know. I can't be that guy. All right, we got a couple of questions here. No name, but so newbie here. How do you physically buy or hold crypto? Mm-hmm. Is it like stocks? Where do you keep it? What is the difference between all of the different types of crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, etc.? Mm-hmm. And what are the tax implications of investing in crypto?
Yeah, I mean, all different coins, and they can be created from nothing. And I don't know if you know who Dave Portnoy is, Barstool. Like, they're creating, like, the Miss Peaches coin. Like,
because of his dog?
Yes. Like, the dumbest shit possible. Like, and people buy into it because they buy into Portnoy. Like, they buy into that person. They believe everything he touches is gold. And recently it has been, right? So people can make any type of coin. It's just got to be powered by something. And all these, majority of them are powered by blockchain. But some of them are different software. So, like, Ethereum, for example, like, it's not necessarily a currency. It's a software that you're investing in that can create better, like, more efficient and fluent services into blockchain. So Ethereum and Solana kind of work hand in hand, where they're software engineering. That's what you're investing in. So you're not necessarily investing in the money side of it.
Gotcha.
Cryptocurrency is the money side of it. So Doge on the other side is, they call them the meme coin because that's powered. It's supposed to be like a currency of sorts that is fluctuating with the market, with the whales of the market. So, like, once you get into the smaller coins, I would never invest in them, because in the sense of, you gain big, you lose big. They have zero holding power over the long haul. Like,
gotcha.
Focus on the main two really is Bitcoin, Ethereum. Those are your go-getters. You know you'll be fine for the most part. But Solana, Cardano, those are certain forms of cryptocurrency, but they're more investing in softwares that's powered by blockchain technology.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So a little different, and that's getting into the weeds of different things where people are like, what the hell are they talking about now?
Yeah.
So it's...
Well, people want to know. I mean, and as far as the tax implications go, it's just like anything else. You sell something, you have to pay tax, and then the capital gains, I'm sure.
Yep. The more money you make, the more you're paying in taxes.
Yeah.
Yep. The more you lose, obviously, you can take a loss, but the government doesn't really care when you take a loss.
No,
We're going to cap it at this amount.
Yeah.
So, been there before.
Oh, the government. Last question.
Yeah. What you got?
Ask about self-custody. What is a non-custodial wallet? Is it important?
It's a good question. I don't have a good answer for that one.
There you go. Sorry.
Yeah. Was there no name on that?
No name on that one.
Well, so can you give us your names? Yeah, it probably is. But I haven't done enough research on self-custody. I just know when, like, they call them, like, keys. So it's no different. So I got the credit union. We have keys to, like, all of our card platform. And they're not, like, put in your door type of keys. And that's the hot and cold storage. So, like, the one storage is for selling the crypto side, and one is for accepting payments. So you could take your key, I believe it's the warm key, I may be switching them up. You can put your warm key and put it on a page and be like, if you want to donate to this, like a Venmo or where people donate. Why can't I think about it? You see it, GoFundMe pages.
GoFundMe.
So you put, like, your GoFundMe, your QR code. You can send money in, but people can't pull money out of your GoFundMe with that key. So crypto is the same thing. So crypto, you can put that key out there. You can give me money. You can pay me on it. Pay me for groceries. Pay me for the food. I bought dinner. Pay me off of this key. The other key on the other side is the one where people can withdraw. And those are what the fraudsters are trying to get after. If they have access to that key at any point, they can take all of your money out, lock it in the blockchain, screwed forever. So just make sure you're protecting those keys once you get them, and you'll get them when you log into Coinbase, FTX, which nobody's using FTX anymore, I hope. But whatever platform you're using, you'll get assigned different keys. Yeah, no kidding. It's like, come on, FTX. So it's just it's making sure you're protecting those different things is essential, because if you lose money in your bank account at Filer, we give you provisional credit. It's fraud. You get your money back. You lose your money at Coinbase, you're toast.
So the urban legend, I don't know if it's an urban legend, if it's true or not, but the guy that lost his computer. in a landfill in Europe or something, and it had like $80 million worth of Bitcoin on it. He's been digging in this landfill for years trying to find it.
So I don't know if I believe that. So I've had it before where I forgot my password to get into it, and then I just reset my password and I'm able to get in. So I don't know if I believe that, but resetting your password for a Coinbase is much more difficult than I'm locked out of Google.
Yeah.
I got to send a password because it's so easy to hack into anybody's Google if you really try to. Like, what's your mother's maiden name? What was your date of birth? What was your first car? Like, I can name all these things for all my good friends, and I'm hacked into their stuff. So Coinbase is not like that. You have very stringent questions that you need to answer to reset your password, but that person that said that they lost all that money, I don't think I believe that. Because unless somebody stole it from them, but because it's on a computer, I think it's a crock of shit.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask, is if you forget your password, are you fucked? Is all your money gone?
No. Yeah, I've reset my password multiple times on that thing, but it's a different type of reset, though. It's not something where you can do the Google reset and it's set up that way. So, but there's no hotline. You can't call a hotline and be like, hey, I have a problem with my cryptocurrency, so I need to have problems with it.
And not to sound like an ageist, but that's what like the older people would struggle with. Like,
yeah.
You mean I can't call anybody?
Right.
Like,
I have to figure this out on my own. I have problems. So, there's an issue there. So, and a lot of it's like, so multi-factor authentication, people are saying like MFA, it's a cybersecurity thing. So you go in there, you have your cell phone that's in front of you, and I know this is part of resetting it. You click on it, forgot my password, it'll send you like a code on your phone. You type in your code, and then it'll send up another code with you. So there's like 3 or 4 different segments of resetting this stuff, which I think that's what made people more comfortable investing in crypto, so they know that they actually can reset different things, because that old adage is like, I lost my computer, I lost my password, now I'm toast. The other side of it too, something happens to me, I die, and my wife's like, what am I supposed to do? If I don't have anything set up for that, it's gone. Like, she can't access it unless she hacks my phone and gets to my Coinbase, takes the money out and transfers it back. There's no like beneficiary set up on it.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing too. So if you're sick or something problem, absolutely. Like, hey, this is what my login, like, to be honest, if I get hit by a bus today, that stuff's gone. She doesn't know that stuff. So there's no beneficiary that you can set up. Like, if you die today, you have a beneficiary set up for your family, for your stocks, investments, your accounts, wherever they're at, and it goes to them. That doesn't exist in crypto world.
So like when people talk about like VPNs and stuff, like I should just have a VPN, especially for all the shit that I do.
Sure.
But blockchain would essentially be the VPN.
Yes. Blockchain is like everything all encompassing put into one. And that's why I believe, like, if you're saying I believe in cryptocurrency or blockchain, like, it's blockchain 10 times over. Like, blockchain, in my opinion, is where everything needs to move to, just because of the transparency of it, the immutability of it, so you can't fake who you are once it's in the blockchain. Like, it can't be repeated, any of that. And then obviously just the taking government out of it is, in my opinion, the biggest part of, I don't want government to be able to hide money, or I want to be able to track where money goes. Not that I'm part of the government or anything, but I think that's one of the biggest things, that we need to know where some of this money goes, because I think PPP was a crotch, and I think it was executed terribly. Giving people money for the pandemic relief was a crotch. Like, all of that stuff is why we're where we're at today with inflation.
I think if we can talk about the PPP loan for a little bit. I think I understand where you're coming. I think the PPP loan definitely helped businesses that were screwed because the government said tough shit.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, but there was a rampant, people were taking advantage of it that shouldn't have got it.
For sure.
And dude, I'll tell you, not Filer Credit Union.
Yeah, sure.
But I had bankers coming to my business and saying, did you get your PPP loan yet? We could sign you up today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, dude, I don't need it.
Yeah. Well, it's because they got paid. So there was like a percentage that banks, if they put in a PPP loan, they got fee income back from it, from the government. So that's why people are like knocking on your doorstep, like, do it, because they were getting money back from it as well. I do think you're right. Like, it bailed out a lot of businesses that like needed it. I totally agree, but it far outweighs the people that took advantage of it, and they're like, hey, we had to close down. Like, I know plenty of businesses, and I'm not calling them out. Like, I know plenty of businesses that were able to operate, took a PPP loan for what reason? Like, your numbers skyrocketed during COVID.
Mine did.
And you were functioning. But,
you know what I mean?
You don't need it. And
I didn't
you didn't
need
do it. But there's plenty of people that are in your shoes like, free money? Why not? Because at first they're like, you might have to pay this money back, and then the government's like, actually, screw it. We don't have enough people to monitor this stuff. Money's yours.
Yeah.
Moving on. So there's so many people that took advantage of it. And I've seen people that are like, I started a business about 2 months before COVID, and I was like, what kind of business was it? It was a cleaning business. Well, how many clients do you have? One. Like, who's this client? Like, my mom. Like, so business. I've seen businesses like that get PPP loans, which is just mind-blowing to me. And they're like, yep, this is how much money that I lost because I couldn't go clean somebody's house because I couldn't COVID, they were masks, and I had to be separation, all that stuff, and it is terrible. Like, it's sad to think about that, but that's the reason why now we're trying to recover from it still. And that's why inflation's crazy.
And it's like these fly-by-night companies that were calling. My phone was blowing up. Mm-hmm. Like, you qualify for a PPP loan, we'll do all the paperwork and send you a check.
Yep. It's terrible. And like, it's the same thing like employee retention credit. That's one of the things that's going around right now.
Oh, that one's huge. I get that call at least once a day.
I'm not surprised. And it's terrible to think like, and I think there are businesses that really need it, but at certain points, like, when's enough enough?
Yeah.
Whereas like, we're going to continue to print money, and that's, we talked about earlier, the value of dollar is going to be so minimal in the next few years, and that's why I worry about it not being the reserve currency for the other countries, is because we are willing to be like, yep, we'll pay everything out. We'll pay for, this is going off on a huge tangent, like, we'll pay for Ukraine. We'll do all, like, the amount of money laundering that happens is obnoxious.
Oh, I'm sure.
And crypto is part of that as well. So crypto, one of the negatives that people have mentioned on it is it can fund terrorist activities because it's, anybody can do it. It's not regulated. So that's one of the biggest things that they worry about, is that it's, through banks, we have something called like SARS, suspicious activity reports, where anything that goes through a report we can file, and it's OFAC and it's Office of Foreign Asset Control. So there's no terrorist funding activities that can go through any bank. Crypto is where they have now turned to because it's not regulated. So they can send hundreds of thousands of dollars to each other without having anybody looking at or stopping. They can look at it, but they can't stop the money.
So like, so there's no regulation.
Yep.
I mean, we've said that over and over again. But if I had been investing in crypto for 10 years or more, whatever, let's just say I had like $200,000. When you go to a bank, at least what I think is, right, if you deposit like 10 grand or whatever, the IRS says, whoa, where did that money come from? So like, or something like that.
Continue.
A certain level. Like, I've got $200,000 worth of Bitcoin. I then take that money, or I take it and I give it to you, right? Like, here's 200 grand for the service that you provided me or whatever. Then you take that 200,000 and sell it and get all that money. Like, I'm not giving you a 1099, let's say.
Yep.
You follow me?
Yep,
so then the IRS is like, okay, for number one, you owe us 25-30% on that 200 grand that you just made income on.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
So this is part of why blockchain needs to happen. The other side of it is, so banks specifically, it has to be cash that's coming in. So if you send me a check or a transfer from A to A, there's no necessarily like reports that are going in on it. So if it's somebody's pulling cash out of like the bottom of their mattress at home, because that's like the old adage of like, yep, just keep it in your mattress at home, it's safer there, which is not true. You bring the cash in, this is the government's way of being like, oh, this was $15,000 that was missing in our currency because there's no tracking system on anything that happens. Well, if it's in the blockchain, everything's tracked.
Gotcha.
So you can't have like your house burns down, you're like, hey, I had $100,000 in my house that burned down in my house. Too bad. There's no tracking of it. We have no clue where any of that money's at. So that's another reason, like, blockchain's the answer, because everything is tracked. You cannot dispute it, and this is everything that needs to go in. We can track everything. Track government spending, track all the cash that's sitting at somebody's house. But it's just, I think from what you were coming at is the bank need to know. I mean, there's nothing that we would fee you on that money that's coming in. The government's always going to have their hand in taxes or income that's coming in. There's no 1099 from the crypto side. It's just
so hard. Like if it's all on the blockchain, so this is all coming back around because Betsy and I have had this conversation about like fucking taxes are just like, and she's in the heat of it right now. She's in busy season, right?
I can only imagine.
And there's all this, you get, especially when you're doing like business tax, and there's all these players and all this shit coming in and going. It's like, if it's on the block, because she's worried, or I guess not worried, but the talk is, eventually AI is going to take over accounting, right? So if it's on the blockchain for tax purposes, all of my shit, all of my transactions, because it's always funny. I always make the joke, like, the government is always like at the end of the year, by April 15th, you owe us X amount of dollars, you need to pay us, right? Yep. If you don't pay, they'll send you a bill and say you owe us this much money. Like if you don't do your taxes, right? They know.
Yep.
It's all, so like what do you need an accountant for, right? So if it's all on the blockchain at come April 15th or whatever, if you owe, they get it right away. If you don't owe, if you get a refund, it gets popped into your wallet.
She's not wrong.
I mean, it sounds super easy.
It's a real thing that I mean, it's not going to happen in the next year or so, right?
Right.
This is something that's got to be built over years and years and years. But it's no different than you own a business and you're like, just think of those people, and I don't know if you're one of these people. You have this massive bag of receipts. Like, these are my comps for my business or my tax deductions.
Oh, no. All the invoices.
Yeah. So, like, now it's all on the blockchain.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go through all that stuff. You don't have to waste 2 hours. It's not really wasting, but 2 hours to do your taxes.
Yeah.
If it's on the blockchain, it has your code on it. It's sent in directly, so it takes everything out of the middleman. So, like, accountants are going to be the ones that are hit. I mean, banking's going to be hit. Like, all of these financial features, which the government regulates and gives me job security, gives her job security, AI, blockchain gets rid of it all. I mean, so I'm here like, it's a good thing to invest in. It's also taking away job security for me. It's taking job security away for her. But in my opinion, it's way better system. I hate how our government sets up like the financial system right now. It's flawed. There's a lot of issues that come with it. Blockchain does take care of a lot of it.
But for ease of setup, to kind of bookend this whole conversation, I go on my phone or the computer and I go into Robinhood or Coinbase, and I just set up an account and I connect it to a banking account with routing number. And I'm in the blockchain.
You're in the blockchain.
And then I take money from my bank account, put it into the wallet, and then use that money that I just put in to buy cryptocurrency.
So we jumped ahead there. So you're not on the blockchain until you purchase the crypto.
Then you're on it.
Right. So the transfer from your banking institution to the wallet is not onto the blockchain. The blockchain happens once it's in the crypto because that's what powered by blockchain, right? So it's not until you officially purchase to be able to start now hitting on your blockchains. So I can show you how it's set up on, and I know the podcast, and I don't want to, the people are like, well, you're showing them something, and so like go into my phone, hit Coinbase and hit here, like it has all my stuff set in. So down today, I'm down
real time,
changed,
right?
Dude. So $1,800 down today, right? So it can change in a heartbeat. So like over the last year, that's what was made in the last year. So like it's the reason why you see this massive spike is because of the halving. Everybody's assuming when the halving is coming that it's going to jump up 10, 20%, which it jumped more than that over the last 6 months. So there's such thing as like being priced in, right?
Yeah.
So no different than a stock. It's priced in because people are anticipating the halving hits, things start to like droop off a little bit. So that's one of the biggest things is like trying to make sure that you have everything set up. My security probably should be a little more secure because like I have my face on my phone. I click on the Coinbase app. Boom, we're in. Now you can see everything in my Coinbase.
What you just showed me there.
Yeah.
It's like I would be so fucking addicted to watching that.
Just watching like your money go up and down.
It's just like TikTok, dude. That right there. I didn't want to take my eyes off of it. I'd be constantly grabbing my phone going, where are we at right now?
I mean, I check it probably 3-4 times a day, but there's times where it's like, I need to quit looking at this. I'm not going to look at it till the end of the week. But yeah, it's like real time. You can see down. So right now today, I'm down $1,800. I could be up $2,200 by the end of the day. So it fluctuates a ton. It gets addicting.
So that's coming up. That they say is going to be coming up.
So
have you threshold that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So and that's where so the halving is, and I'm assuming it's probably, they say like the target date was like May 20 something or other. So it depends on when they hit that threshold of 180 million bitcoins in the market, right? So and this halving is Bitcoin specifically. It's not all other coins. But as we talked about earlier, halving hits, Bitcoin historically rises 10-20%. The other coins are going to follow what Bitcoin does. So the halving specifically has to be tied to Bitcoin. It's a wild world, man.
It is. I feel smarter, but also I know that I'm going to sound a whole lot dumber when I go home tonight.
This is what I learned today, Schmidt. You're an idiot.
Betsy, this is what has to happen. Dude, thank you for coming in and doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
These people that wrote in are going to dig the info, and I know that there's a bunch of people out there that have been looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, and I'm always happy to have the conversation with anybody. If they want to swing by the credit union and talk about it, that's great too. But again, we're not financial advisors, not financial advice. Just like the whole, you got to have that in there. It's just what you and I think and how we invest and go from there.
Next time I have you on, we'll talk about quantitative easing.
Yeah, great. Yeah, get into economics, baby.